going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Macro Perspective. And today we're actually going to be doing a micro bite. Haven't done one of these in a while, but again, shorter content. Sometimes maybe this idea will stick around. But before you give this episode a full listen, to all of our listeners out there, please like, comment, and subscribe, and potentially share this one because we think that this is a very valuable concept that we're about to explain today. And it's really what we're trying to move into when it comes to people we're working with. So, with that being said, drum roll, please.
Here we
Okay,
go.
what we're talking about today is Athlete 2.0. And this is a concept that we have coined, as many people do, in terms of the archetype of person, or we'll call it the avatar of person that should be seeking us out. So if you've been listening, we've dropped this a few times in our conversation about, the thought processes behind the people that we think we connect most with. And with that being said, those people are Athlete 2.0. And Athlete 2.0, the elevator pitch version, is someone who has done something athletic in their life, had a coach during that time. So they probably played some organized sport. They may have done it at a high level. They may have just done it through high school. They may have just done it a little bit recreationally, right? But during that time, there were significant changes with themselves and their bodies. So well, or so good, in fact, that you're always chasing to get back to that person. Except now you're in this whole new arena of life. And that arena is likely a busy professional, a person who does not have enough time to devote that many hours to training, yet your mindset is still there.
Yep. And the big thing too is this person, their mindset is still there, and they're probably trying to embark on that same feeling again in this time of their life, whether they're a busy professional, an accommodating parent, or just a really health conscious person, right? So this person wants that quote unquote minimum effective dose from their training, making sure they're doing the right nutrition principles, but at the same time, guess what they need? Same thing that they got before in organized sports or in the amateur league or anything like that. Some accountability, community, some culture, some connection. And I think that's what we're delivering now, right? With Athlete 2.0, not only are you getting the best in what we can do to help with your training, making sure your nutrition is accommodating to what season you're doing. In our vernacular, we talk about things like a baseline, a build, a burn, beyond, and balance. But at the same time, understanding that you need to get from point A to point B, you need to become good to great again. You just don't know where to start, or you're struggling. Maybe you're just not finding that same camaraderie again, and you don't know where to do it. And hopefully, with what we're doing with Athlete 2.0, our macro perspective collective, we'd love for you to come into that and see what we're delivering.
Well said, man. Doing shit alone is never fun, right? There are moments in everybody's journey where it's easier to work out alone because of, we'll just call it like restrictions of time or things of your availability and no one else wants to get up with you or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, right, like there's in today's society, there's no reason for that to be something that is happening to you.
Yep.
While having a workout partner on particular days can still be very difficult, there are other like-minded individuals that would love to connect with you. There are so many, in fact, that as we've again looked at what all of our clients had in common, it was these core principles.
Oh,
So
yeah.
why aren't we finding a way to have them engage with one another? Right? Like
Yeah.
you want to have that, you want to talk about those things and the struggles. You want to find someone that is on a level playing field as you, that can again kind of commiserate in a sense, but also build camaraderie at the same time because they're
Mm-hmm.
going through it with you, even if it's not necessarily in the exact same, field or same city or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to say it this way, like misery loves company, but like I think positivity loves company too, right?
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
like
there's no better glue to create social connections other than struggle, right? If you had some shared struggle together, you will come together as a team, and that's why teams are so great. That's why sports has been so great for us and for you, the listener. And we're trying to capture that same thing. I think we are capturing that same thing in our macro perspective collective and our community, because even though I might be in LA and Marcos might be in Vegas. Man, I can't wait to connect with Marcos. And I can't wait to connect with these other like minded individuals around the world because we're talking about the things. Oh, how did your workout go today? Man, I really struggled with my nutrition today. Man, my health is, what's going on? Or things are looking great. And I just want to share that with people, maybe bounce off ideas on a soundboard, quote unquote, and be able to commiserate in that positivity and just keep growing together. And I think with that being said, you can exponentially increase not only that part of fitness, that part of nutrition that we have such a great background in, right, Marcos, but that other part of it, that socialization, which is such an important part where most people forget. I know as an athlete, people might have had to sacrifice some of the things that they needed to do. I know Marcos has probably had to sacrifice times with family because he was on the road doing some sporting events. I know I've had to sacrifice times with family, even Thanksgiving dinners, because I had to cut for my first wrestling tournament that next week. But what we're trying to do here is you can get all of that and not necessarily sacrifice that social life because, yeah, maybe you might have to train at a different time than your friends. Yeah, maybe they're not on the same nutrition plan as you. And they just don't get you. They're like, why is this guy grinding? Why is this guy trying to reach new heights? These people will understand you.
mm, we do understand because we are you, right? Um, I love the quote. Well, that's easy for you to say. You probably have it figured out to have 5 days of working out a week, or it's easy for you because, or it's, like, I mean, every excuse that I've now heard, or
Must be
what's the
nice.
word? Yeah, must be nice. Yeah. Um, no, you know what? Yeah, it would be nice to sleep in. It would be nice to do all those other things, take a nap in the afternoon, do some things that would be, uh, again, great when you're maybe in that like single mentality. But, you know, uh, as I've transitioned from athlete 1.0 to 2.0, there was, athlete 1.5, what was where I lost that identity of my early athletic self when I actually was like full bore into something I was so passionate about.
Yeah.
It was like that identity had been stripped away. It was like I again like really just felt like I was lost because now I'm like, what am I going to do now that I no longer do this thing, right? And in that 1.5 version, I was still wanting to get to that level of athletic performance so that I
Yeah.
could go compete amongst my peers.
Hmm.
But what it took was actually figuring out 2.0 version of that I
Yeah.
couldn't allocate so much time. I had to be a little bit better on nutrition or understand when to train certain things for the sake of maximizing something. And I think before, optimization only occurred because I had so much free time. I wasn't truly
Hmm.
optimizing anything. I was just purely, I mean, eating whatever the heck I wanted, quote, because there was so much expenditure, and then just trying to shove in all the different domains and facets of what CrossFit really was trying to make me do.
Yeah.
And, you know, then when it was stripped away, in a sense of, I'm having a kid. Now what? I got to make money. How am I going to feed this kid? I mean, I've always been an over planner. So this is like as soon as we knew, I was like, all right, in 10 months, like diapers, hopefully not formula, all those different things that this,
Yeah.
getting the room ready or having a place to live, having enough space, right? Car seats, you name it, right? I just realized very quickly it could become very expensive. And, I went into working jobs that, man, didn't pay all that well, but at least it was consistent,
Yeah.
And that's where I think like that 1.5 version of myself was. Um, I think it's inevitable in everybody's journey, right? You've had the athletic version, you had this phase, and you maybe are identifying with it right now, and where you need to figure out the 2.0 version. Um, man, I mean, I gained 30 pounds in like no time flat. Like, we're talking like 15% on my body weight increase. And
Mm,
I would say like in a month to 6 weeks.
yeah,
And like, it hurt me to my core. Um,
messes with the
I
identity a
can,
little.
it did. Um, I struggled, man. I really did.
Mm,
I was mentally
yeah,
unhappy. I mean, technically, I was actually nutrition coaching, and I was like, I can't even hold an image that I'm happy with. How am I going to help other people do it? Right. But I think that struggle really occurred so that I can speak to that pain point better because I
yeah.
lived that pain point.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like that one where a lot of people coming into this, we'll be transparent, right? Most people probably gained weight after they had the coach or people to show up that held them accountable. So why not be a part of a community that's looking for the accountability, right? And having other people there to find, again, I'm not the most creative recipe person, but there's probably someone in the group at some point that will be that person,
They
that
can
go
inspire
to,
you. Yeah,
that can inspire the creativity side.
yeah.
And that's what Athlete 2.0 is really going to be about as we embark on this, now that we're moving into October, right? So yeah, man, like, I don't know. I know we've really hashed out a lot of these things, right? To let people know, like, we didn't want to do something half-heartedly. It needed to be wholeheartedly. We needed to
Yeah.
figure out again, like the logistics of, um, I mean, to be real, like compensation, right? What people
Yeah.
should have to pay for to build that, and that is where I think we still haven't even finalized what that number looks like, but it is at a price point that you would never want to get rid of it, so
Mm-hmm.
long as you are engaged in it.
Yeah. I mean,
Literally,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's just be real. Like we've seen this in the last few years where people were pinching pennies, not having jobs. People still not working to this day. It's 2023, so people still not working. And
Dude,
we want to
how?
get to the point.
My
Yeah.
question is still how, right? Like,
Hey, that's
everything's
how you
so
get addicted
inflated.
to the
How are you
sauce.
affording anything?
Yeah, that's how you get addicted to the sauce that like of
We're just
whatever that sauce
living
is.
off booze.
Living off whatever. Not that sauce, but just like the whole like comfort crisis. I mean,
Oh,
that's what we're trying to do here, right? Like the whole thing is when you have your bank statement at the end of the month, beginning of the month, and the bills come. Athlete 2.0, the Macro Perspective Collective, what we want to do with you guys is that at this price point, at what we're doing, and how we do it as coaches in this field, um, I've seen it time and time again where people, this is one of the first things that they will let go. I want to deliver something so well for y'all. Marcos and I want to deliver something so well for you. That's why I almost took a year to figure this out. Is that we deliver it so well for y'all. You have this community coaching, yet it's a one-on-one feel. And you can feel that you get some of the greatest performance athletic training there is. You get world-class 20 plus years of nutrition coaching together. But more importantly, you have people in the fight with you. And I say this time and time again. Someone that's done it, Marcos and I have done this. We've been to the cream of the crop, the top of the top. We've done it with people at the top of the top. Yet we're still doing it and we're still getting people in and we're still learning. And that's what we want to
mhm.
do with y'all. And when that bill comes, you go, yeah, this is a great investment. Maybe not utilizing, maximizing every time, but that's the point for you to go, okay, I got off the beaten path to get back on the path and make sure that every single time that you think of the macro perspective and every single time, you know you're on a journey in your perspective, wherever you're at, that you can go, okay, I can jump back in right now. And these guys are going to help me. This community is going to be there. And it's not something that is wholeheartedly this crazy mountain that you can never achieve. I like to say, Marcos, there's 4 areas of life that I like to work on: health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. You can't just be a health freak and then not have a job, right? I know too much in my field of like jiu-jitsu wrestling where these guys are all they do is jits. But guess where they live out of? They live out of their freaking car. Okay, I get that. That's the dream, but some of us are realists and like, hey, we got kids, we're busy professionals, we got to provide a place for our family. So there's that. And then there's people that all they do is work 24/7 and they don't have time for the family. They don't see the kids grow up. I would be devastated if I couldn't hold your kids as they were growing up. I was just telling you the other day, I was like, can she just stay this small? One of your children. I was like, just stay this small. And then there are people that are relationships are they bend over backwards for relationships and have no boundaries, right? We even teach as coaches, Marcos, right? We teach coaches, we teach our clients as coaches boundaries. Why? Because you have a goal and you might need to have some boundaries. And then you can go to bed with your head being happy. That's it, right? You can't be an expert in all of them and expect that all of them will come together. You kind of have to creep with all of them. That's what the macro perspective is it's that's what Athlete 2.0 is trying to get all these health and wellness dimensions of life and try to work on them all at the same time. Kind of think of it as dimmer switches. They're not completely on, they're not completely off. You're just playing with them in certain seasons. Maybe this season for you in October, right into 2024, is a time to watch out for your health because we know on average 7 to 14 pounds people gain during the holidays. New year, you come along, 2 weeks, you quit because it's too hard, because you never had the prerequisites or the accountability or the community to hold you there. So that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a nutshell, it's yeah, that it's slow moving. Everybody that's listening intentionally, um, we don't want it to be something that wasn't very thoroughly thought out, positioned properly, and something that we want to continue doing. You know, showing up for a group of people has a different toll than a lot of people would probably recognize. Sure, it's all fine and dandy because, you know, everybody could look from the perspective of like the finance part, right? But like the finance part does not ultimately make you happy. The stuff of getting that community and culture together is what makes Seamus and I feel a hell of a lot happier. Um, while a lot of our mediums are digital, I mean, we are not wanting to be digitally bound, just digitally based. So everybody that gets a part of this thing gets that, you know, digital front for a little while. But we're trying to be able to have events and things and meetups and whatever that is to like really make sense of it, find where
Yeah.
everybody's located, you know, find a service or a map to then figure like where an easy drive time would be for a lot of people in the future and head out, you know, find a good spot. Hell, I mean, our two places where we live aren't too terrible. I mean, most people wouldn't have a hard time saying no to coming to Vegas for a weekend.
Yeah.
Similarly for LA. And yeah, there's lots of great different little cultures of different gyms, you know, whether it's bodybuilding or CrossFit or jiu-jitsu or whatever that might be. Um, so yeah, like yeah, it's the Athlete 2.0. What is it? You know, wrapping this up, it's it's a community that you didn't realize you needed to make sure you have people in your life that are going through it with you.
Yeah.
So, and like Seamus said, he had those four things as we position it here: food, fitness, focus, family, finance. Right? Five things. Right? Five things that ultimately lead to like overall happiness, like Seamus was saying, and the four that he kind of delves into. Um, but for me, you know, all those things have to have synergy in order to create happiness. Right?
Yeah.
The mind has to be happy and your emotions need to be under control. Family, whatever that looks like, extended family, people like your community, right? Family, not necessarily mom and dad or, you know, that particular thing, but family as in that community. The food, right? Nourishing your mind and body, right? The fitness, because, well, I mean, let's face it, all the longevity studies are now kind of proving you need to have some form of fitness in there.
Yeah.
So we want to find what that minimum effective dose is. And, you know, that last one, finances. We're going into a new phase of the economy, you know? So we don't want people to feel strapped like they can't put things forward for their health, right? You want to have that sort of thing. And instead of trying to charge an arm and a leg for a smaller group of people, Let's charge less and try to get more people to do the damn thing together. That's our goal.
100%. 100%. And one thing, I don't make much promises. I like to say things are written in stone, and we're just kind of moving through them. But to be honest, one of the things I love to tell people that I work with is once you work with Marcos and I, we are working with you. We're not those people that are pay and ghost and pray. I got into this thing, and where are these guys at? That's not what we do. I've been there too many times. I know Marcos has, and we don't want to gain your trust after so long. And for you to finally come in and go, what did I get myself into? No, not here. I'm absolutely not. One thing I know that Marcos and I will do is we will enjoy doing this. Yes, there'll be rough days, but this is something we could do for a good time, for a long time. And you will know that we will be part of that daily community, that weekly check every single time.
Yeah. So while this group is still in the first pass, essentially, we're getting people to do our very first challenge as we're talking about this. That challenge is meant to just kind of show that proof of concept, for everybody. And again, challenging everybody to go through a phase like that, every quarter or so, right? Where they want to like put their money where their mouth is, have some fun, try to win something, right? Like, there's plenty of apps that do something very similar. Why not do it amongst the people that are in that community and growing together? And each of those things, we don't even know what they look like yet. We just know the first one is just lean for Halloween, right? Yeah, body composition challenge that is a little bit different, there are some strings attached to winning the actual prize that, again, people may not know about, but that's why we don't deliver what all the scoring entails, so people can't cheat the damn thing.
Yep.
But yeah, nonetheless, like the biggest thing for everybody to consider is like if you're looking for, actually, let's phrase it this way: are you somebody that struggles with finding commitment to your health journey? Are you someone who was once an athlete? Are you someone that still identifies as an athlete and wants to get that athleticism back? Do you want to be able to play with your kids? Do you want to be able to do it at a high level? Do you want to be, or do you want to be the person on the sideline sitting in a chair like every other parent that I see out there? Because I know I sure as hell don't. So if you are wanting to become the best version of yourself, come to us and join us. If you want to join this group, guess what? It's free. The paid component is something else. It's a part of, being a part of the community is completely free. Getting into the live version of the calls is where a cost is associated, because that's where you get coached up. You can use all the references and resources of other people getting coached to influence what you're going to do. Ask questions in the group, get feedback from other people. That's what we want. That is the goal. And then if you feel like you need those little bit more touches and you want to have that communication piece with us, well then, again, minimal fee. Minimal at best. Let's just say that like you may have to just kick your coffee habit. Let's put it that way.
There it
if
is.
You go to Starbucks, right?
There it is.
So
awesome, guys. We'll detail out the links in the description below. Message us, whatever it is. We'll get you into our Athlete 2.0 community. And just be on the lookout for a lot of those resources coming your way, and be ready to be coached up and struggle along and become the version that you've always wanted to be.
Should also mention the link to join the group is inside of all of our links at the Macro Perspective podcast page on Instagram, Seamus's page, and my page. We use one Stan Store to make it all very synergistic and easy. So if you go to all three locations, you will find the same lead to get into that group, and we make it nice and easy. So yes, we're super excited. This is us documenting this and talking about it because we haven't talked about it. And yeah, looking forward to getting you guys inside. Looking forward to just getting to know more and more people. And until we see you there, Macro Perspective is gone. Out, gone. Nah, Macro Perspective is out. Yeah, that sounds
out. We out.
Out.